Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Alchemist and the Oracle, a space where we engage in spiritualized conversations that deepen understanding, inspire transformation, and spark meaningful dialogue about life's most profound truths. I am Nicole Love, the Oracle, and I am joined by my amazing co host who is adjusting her camera,
I
making
am. Hi,
everyone
y'all.
dizzy, the Warrioress Ardeshir A'ren, also known as the Alchemist. Welcome to the Alchemist and the Oracle. I don't know why I got so loud. Today we're getting into conversation about a really interesting topic, the 12 laws of being human. So I'm going to just sit here and be pretty in this box and allow her to do the heavy lifting.
Hi, everybody. How you doing, my lovely darlings? Well, this topic kind of came up through discussion, and I mean, what do we know about, actually being human? And so, I this being very interesting from a spiritual perspective of what it means. And I think you might find it pretty engaging and some that should give you food for thought in how we need to look at, the naturalness of our lives, and not what has been sold to us. I guess I'll put it that way. And so there's 12 of them. We'll, get through them. If you have any questions, please remember to put it down in the chat and things of that nature and go from there. So we're going to begin with this law, which these are different from the 12 universal laws, which we could speak of. But the first law has to do with being the law of embodiment. And I got my hands on this based off of a book, but and so the law of embodiment has a lot to do with of caring for yourself. Your body is a temple, as people say. I like using that word because of how it's used, and it's very, very, very dynamic because it carries your very soul, the very essence of who you are, why you do what you do in body. And so caring for your body is huge. What you give it, what you feed it, not only in food, but also in thought, information. And it is a prime aspect of, and even how you talk to yourself is how do you embody your very being. We can be in going down the line, there'll be some more of these laws that will tie into this embodiment law of what it means to walk in your body, you know, how how you appreciate the body that you're in, how you nurture the body that you're in. And the biggest thing, as I know, as I have been and probably coming from ancestral, being critical with your body, to it, you have to be kind. You have to talk to it with the kindness that you normally would talk to someone else. You know, what you feed it is important. And what you feed it gives you the amount of energy. Everything is tied. It feeds your brain. What you put in your body feeds your brain. Trash in, trash out. So embodying your wholeness, your spirit, your soul, just the very nature of why you're here matters. You know, everything you do in reference to your body matters. And so with that said, I want to get my co-host in here on her take from her perspective on this embodiment, and how we're walking in the very beautifulness of this body, how we take care, what we put on it. People don't realize that is one of the big, hold on, your skin is one of the biggest organs in your body. So what you put on it is important because it goes into the system. And it also, that's why, I'm more natural biochemical because all that can cause disruption in your body. So it's important not only what you put in it, how you speak to it, but what you put on it as well. All right, my darling, I'll shift it over to you real quick here. And you taking notes and stuff.
I am. So I didn't, I'm going in blindly to this conversation. But me being me, I was like, what does embodiment mean? So I'm like, let's do some etymology of the word.
Words.
So when we break down embodiment in like EM,
Hmm.
that is the unit of measuring the width of printed matter, right? So what is matter? Energy. Everything is energy.
But yeah,
So body is like your like body, your physical body. And meant is the action or process that leads to an outcome. So when I look at all those together, it's like because a lot of times you hear this word, you have to embody. How do you embody your spirituality? It's about embodiment, and a lot of people like I don't know what the hell that means.
right,
But
right, right.
why I see it's a law is how are you can always measure is like I think of like the frequency. That's how I'm kind of looking at it. It's landing of like what is your frequency
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
terms of like the law of embodiment. It's this unit of measuring how you're in your body and the outcome of how that is in the world and how it's expressed outwardly.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's hugely important because it's we're always with our bodies and it's like how connected are you?
That's true. I really think that it is important to take that time because there's another part that is not really a part of this. That's part of something else is spending time with yourself is also an important measure. And
Mm-hmm.
I have something that tells me 3 times a day, and I need to do a better job of it, but I think I'm doing a better job because I'm right here, is getting to know yourself better. And getting to know yourself better is because you're evidently changing whether you believe it or not. Some of us kind of sit in similar patterns, but you need to, they're not serving you, then you need to release them because they don't honor your body as a whole, mind, body, and spirit, so
Mm-hmm.
getting to know yourself better each and every day, you know, because you're not the same as you were yesterday. You might not even notice the medial things. They said there's no such thing as I did a class which was called oh my God, it's in California, and it's about experiential learning. And I said there's no such thing as stability in the sense that we know it, and obviously it's not because the body's always changing. So is you're either growing or you're decaying.
Yeah, and everything in between. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and as I get down to the other laws, I get more into, you know, the options that you have, when it comes to your embodiment and how you embody yourself, like getting to know yourself better, you know, um, and treating your whole, like people say self-care. Well, there's a range of self-care that comes to treating your hands, which we won't look at mine, but and how, we deal with our feet. And I love massage therapy. Massage therapy is a therapeutic therapy. So that's how I serve my body as well. And it actually needs one now. It'll be getting one Monday, whatever day is coming up for me.
TMI. Don't give people that for free.
Oh, really? Oh, my bad. But yeah, I mean,
I think that's a really important point, not the pre back to the law of embodiment here. Because I think we're always because this idea that we can ever escape our body, we're always in process in some way. It's just a matter of what does that look like and how does that feel? How does that land in your life? So I do think we're constantly embodying something on some level. And it's a matter of, I think the gifting of embodiment is that you can get to a level of understanding of how, like, what's the outcome that you're experiencing, and from that outcome you can make some adjustments in how you are embodying certain things too. So I think how you embody also is very dependent on what you were talking about, how like the cycle of death and like decay and rebirthing is, it looks a little bit different based on where
Yeah.
you are in that cycle. And I think it's just about having that practice of self-care and awareness that you understand how your body is communicating, how you can be in greater alignment and honoring where that cycle, where you fall in that cycle of change that's always in process.
Yeah, there's a lot that I think are, as we go down this list here, that's gonna tie everything. Also, the whole thing that people don't realize, what we feed our brains. So there's something, and I'm not gonna be able to quote it right, and if offend somebody, I don't know why it would, but it's about, when we feed our brains, it's like I'm all about the latter. There's, some people talk about some people talk about events and certain, and then there's the other thing where you're talking um about the things that we're talking to here. What are you feeding? What are you feeding your brain? What are you feeding it when you watch TV? What are you feeding when you talk to, someone? So it's very important in that aspect. And transitioning here, unless you have anything that you want to say and reference that, I can transition to the second law, which is the law of lessons.
Mm, that's a big ass one right there. Law of lessons. Okay. Tell me more about this law of lessons.
I mean, we're always, I mean, these are tied so interchangeable with one another. We're always in the point of learning lessons. When you look at, and not to really criticize in the process of these lessons, because we're learning lessons at all the time. When we go back to the body, we learn that lessons of what we feed our body, what serves it or not. So, example, if for example, you learn the lesson that if there's a certain food, for me, let me use me for an example. So it's a certain thing, and I find out there's certain things depending on how it's cooked, it can do this, but I'm not really doing pork, for example, right? So I found out that it was something that I could touch that somebody cooked, but it had to do with a short rib or whatever, but I can't do pork chops. So I don't do that and any of the other things with that. And what I found out is the lesson I learned is that when my stomach tells me something or I feel something that's off, I'm going to listen to that. And that means I'm not going to treat my body a certain way and embody that. So, that's a lesson that we have to learn. We may want that, but why suffer from doing that and just go to something that does not, you know, cause you discomfort or cause you just pain, or the lessons in relationships that come through, which are very hard, and we very seldom sit down with that. And I mean, I could go, but I'm not going to go to one of the other universal laws that kind of supports kind of what I'm saying in this moment. I mean, I could. It's not about me, but it's and the lessons that we learn and know that it's okay. Lessons happen. It's just like mistakes
Mm.
happen. Is what we learn from these lessons and how we try to go through so we don't continue. And one of the, universal law is about attraction, is that we don't continue to attract, you know, what it is that we're learning. It's just like, and he'll speak in one of these other things is that is that thinking that what is the word? The rule of insanity is to do things over and over again, thinking you're going to get different results. So you have to learn from the lessons in the midst of that, like listening to your intuition for one thing. And I've learned that not listening to it is detrimental sometimes, and especially when I'm driving. It can be detrimental, to not listen and then to learn from that lesson. You know, um, you know, because I drive, I talk about inclement weather, I talk about listening to the things saying going a different way. If you don't, you might end up in the ditch. Well, if you listen, then you can learn from the lesson that won't put yourself in such a debacle, for instance. And spiritually, you look at connecting and learning lessons um from your growth, you know, um and walking in the world.
Hmm.
So those are, some samples. And of course, being me, alchemy is to never and go back to doing that same crap again. And so, it's just, I'll use it because the diamond is my stone, is that once I get my diamond, that is me, can never go back to doing what I did before because it don't serve me anymore. And if you try to take it back there, then you're not going to do anything but scar it and destroy the poor diamond, which they're hard to, score, but they can be scratched. So just saying.
You seem
So what
sad
do you think?
about that.
Yeah,
I
that's
see the
about it.
sadness. The law of lessons. What? Because one of the things I'm
Being
starting
human, yeah.
to look at is like looking at the words. Because I'm moving into really being methodical and curious and noticing patterns. And so when
Yeah.
I look at this, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you look at lessons, it's like, what can you be less on? Lesson, less on.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
So what can you be less on? Like what's activated from that experience, that outcome that, oh, maybe I need to be less on some eating bags of chips before bed because I've gained 10 pounds in 5 days.
Yeah,
It's like, how can I be less on
it's harder to
some
take out.
anger tip when my neighbor aggravates me because he just lives across the street? I mean, he is creepy though. I have a creepy neighbor.
I'm a bit bored of that.
But how can you be? I think the law of lessons provides you an opportunity to look at the patterns.
Yeah, and your
What has
humanness, yeah.
happened? How did we get here? How, like you said, how did the car get in the ditch? Right? How can we prevent the car from going in the ditch moving forward?
Slow down in the snow
Yeah.
and in the rain.
And the thing about lessons is that
Fix your tires.
it's
Keep
gonna
moving.
keep happening.
Yeah. You can't drive on ball tires either. That takes some people, because if you don't know what to do when these circumstances happen, you need to learn from the lessons. I'm not, it's something about my spirit that don't like to put on brakes a lot. And it's for good reason.
I'll keep my comment to myself.
Whatever, man.
Oh.
But I'm glad we have your side to break it down, because I have one of the guys who I'm in the meaningful conversation. He likes to break down the words. And I get that each of these words are important. I talk about that a lot, a lot lately. And so you're right. I like less of what you did on whatever
Be
I
less
did.
on. Maybe you need to sit the
Less
hell
on.
down. Be less on. Turn some things off. Okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And so it's like that. So now with the lessons of law, we go into number three. Guess what number three is?
The
Hmm.
law of dropping it like it's hot.
Sometimes,
I
sometimes.
mean, that's probably on the list in another.
in another
Great thing.
conversation. Yeah, if you treat your body right, then you can't drop it like it's hot.
And bring it up fast, not slow. Anyway, I'm in a silly mood. I don't know what it is,
Hey,
clearly.
hey, this is how we rolling, the keeping it real. If we don't give y'all some laughter, then I don't know why I'm here. So,
Well, you need some reasons. I can provide those.
okay, I need some water, honey. So, the next law, y'all hang in here. The next law is the law of experimentation.
I'm dropping it like it's hot. I was right.
Yeah,
Wow. Experimentation. Okay.
law of experimentation, the process of trial and error. So this, of course, I will probably go technical because one of our great inventors just came to my mind. But when you're looking at being human and the human aspects, that we're all going to experience, trial and error. I have some notes down here, and you know, none of us are perfect. And this whole thing, and yes, I will complete what I need to do. I mean, I've had everything that you need to get in the way of me trying to do anything technologically, and pray to God that us speaking with you, there will be no disruptions. So, um, it's like we in this humanism experience can be our worst critics. When
Mm-hmm.
we look at business, when we look at jobs, when we look at this nature of this, and I think I told you earlier that you never know deep down so that you're unconsciously comparing yourself to each other. And our teacher there says that comparing yourself is like, what is it? Is
And it
committing
is
violence
an act of violence on yourself.
against your authentic self. Okay, your authentic self. So, and we have to understand that no one is perfect. And I know that we like to see that, but we have to stand in our own space of creating, you know, um, and understand that experimentation is normal. And it's hard. It's just like, something that I'm creating on the side, something we're working on is that we have to do it messy, but I don't personally like doing things messy. I don't like nothing messy. But I understand that there's a different criteria to it in being just who you are. Because I'll mention something by one of the just beautiful women I got to meet last year, at the reunion, with Major Year and all that. And she just was on IG she dressed to the hill because she make her own clothes, right? And she had a slip and she fell and it was recorded and it wasn't that and she put it down and then it went off and it's just like stuff happens. And I don't like it. I don't like my clothes ripped. I don't like none of that. That's just the truth. But we have to understand that things, we have to experiment. It's the only way to grow, it's the only way to stand in the humanness of us and to know that it's okay. And of course you can break down, and I'll let you do a breakdown experimentation. So on you,
Okay.
stage left, baby.
I guess that's my purpose today. Um, so law of experimentation, how I look at it, I look at expire. And when you think of expire, it's like the end or stop being in use. And so the law of experimentation
As a human.
is like it just denotes the power of trying something out to see how it lands. So you get to the point of like, oh, this is the outcome. And from that experimentation, a lot of times you realize this has stopped being in use. And sometimes you don't get there by experimenting and trying things out to see what just doesn't land for you either. So that's how like my mind when it looks at experimentation, I think of expire. So it's like this outcome at the end of being or through being in action through exploring.
Okay, so and I mentioned that one. Um, well, there's been seven, inventors and people that who have failed 55 million times. So it wasn't so much that you're looking in the experimentation, you're looking for a better outcome or to get what it is that you were experimenting with in the first place.
Yeah. It's seeing how things land. It's
Yeah,
really like seeing
yeah,
how things land, looking at its use on the other end of that.
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes it's like, and it's like looking at it from, okay, this is where we landed, it has expired, and evaluating from there. Doesn't
Hmm.
mean that it ends in you continuing to experiment, but it's gonna look a little bit different because you can't go through the same experiment in the same way.
Right, right. It will never be the same. And so that's okay, right? So
Yeah. Have
it's,
fun with it.
I remember being in chemistry class. Boy, somebody,
Um,
yeah, I never recovered because somebody messed with my heating element, and
oh,
my experiment did not come out right at
did you
all.
beat them
I was,
up?
no, not this time. At that time.
Yeah, we're showing our true colors today. I like
I'm
that
messing with
one.
you.
This
I
is so
wanted
much
to.
fun. I hope you guys are having fun with us.
I know I wanted to, but no, I didn't. I barely
I
wanted to.
know, I
I kept
know.
that experiment. I think I kept it in my room. I don't know. I think I might have threw it away eventually. I kept it for a long, long time. The defunct experiment.
Oh my goodness.
So as a human being, y'all, we're gonna make errors. And it's okay. And I say that because I'm continuing to work with my own ego about it.
Mm, that's honest. That's real.
It is. And I'm serious. It is. It's just that. Which steps into the next law, the law of change.
Mm,
We forever, 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 forever as human beings changing. Now, for somebody like me to speak about this, my very nature of my astrological sign does not like change. I like it more now because I realize that things are forever changing. That's all right. But I remember back in the day when things seemed so beautiful and this and that. And now, we have a lot of debacles going on in our humanness in this world, unfortunately.
mm.
But that too shall change, or that too shall pass. Our body is forever changing. If you choose growth, it's forever changing. And they say change is inevitable. Change is always happening. And once we embrace change, I think that within our life, we feel a lot better because it's okay for change to happen. Some of the lifestyles that some of us appreciate, depending on what that is for you, being able to turn the light switch on makes you feel good, you know, to be able to do certain things as a human being. Change has been a process of that. Um, and we have been skillful and creative enough to make that happen after debunk experimentations. Just going back to law number 3. And so, um, in this process, in the portal that we're in right now, is requiring change and for you to step into being who you really were meant to be in this world, spiritually speaking, since this is what this is all about anyway. Um, It's just an inevitable part of life. The more that we embrace change, I think the lighter we'll feel. What you think, my dear?
I think in terms of the law of change, right? Um, it's like you said, it's a fundamental human concept.
Yeah.
And I think when we start to, because I think one of the beauties of understanding some of these laws of being human, it it gives you a bit of relief around, hopefully, of feeling. So I feel like we fight our nature so much. We're fighting against our innate nature and like change, as you specifically we're talking about. And so that's that fundamental human reality of being human.
Yeah.
And so if you embrace it, accept it, because guess what? It's still happening regardless of your acceptance of it, because it doesn't need your acceptance for it to be, because it is.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
start to see the power of it because it allows for you to become different. It allows you to be in an altered state because you look at like the previous laws, right? We're looking at embodiment, measuring how we're feeling into our life and how that's expressed, like the lessons, what I need to take a little bit less off on, or
Right,
maybe you need to like put some more on something else. And the
right.
experimentation process, right? We're
Yeah.
constantly experimenting, figuring stuff out along the way. And if we can learn to allow change to just be as it is and less resistance to it, I'll say that, you'll feel a sense of empowerment in understanding the power of change to pass, because it simply is passing from one state to another.
Yeah.
There's power in that. I can
Yeah.
choose to change. Like I can choose to change my level of aggravation with my neighbor. I can choose that.
Yes.
I can
Yes.
also choose to be really petty too.
Well, this gets to my point. We have the choice to choose to change for our greatest and highest good. That's the
Mm.
choice.
That's all I have to say about the law of change. Now I'm like, tell me the next one.
I love it. Well, how about this? You know, I love this part. The law of continuous learning is one of the laws of being human.
Ooh,
And you've
ooh.
heard some people that don't get it, and then it'll be, I'm a learner for life. I'm like, I'm right there with you. Because with change being that you have to continuously learn and release. It's just like me, and I'll speak about this one because most of the people pitting on the genre generation got the experience getting whoopings or spankings. I don't like whoopings, we know what that. And continuous learning is why is that we continue to pass that down for what? So if you go back and realize that instead of you didn't have a choice, and you didn't have a choice to speak when you got in a little bit of trouble, you know, and to understand the continuous learning I don't believe that anymore. And I remember having a conversation with a former spouse about it, and and it was because it was what had happened to us or me or us. And that it wasn't necessary that you can be spoken to and spoken with and through to be heard. And so even with a good friend of mine learning from her own child is that it's a continuous learning that certain things that worked in the past don't need no longer need to continue. Um, Growing forward, going back to getting to know yourself better, getting to learn the things as things change to grow and understand and know that we are in unity with one another as well and continue to to alleviate the illusions and false things that have been programmed upon us. The false justification of how somebody ought to walk in the world, how you ought to be, how you ought to dress, how the things, that don't serve us, that bind us. So the law of being human continuous learning is just something that is so cool. I mean, you learn from your children, our children, different way of that. They've been all about electronics. And if you're not, why not continue to learn? And just because you're elder does not mean that you can continuously learn and learn from the generation. We all learn from each other at one point, except for silent generation. Then you have the mirror generation that was the seen and be heard type of thing, and how you learn to grow from that and not to sit into these false habits, illusions, or I have another word I won't use ritual, but the way of being that no longer serves.
Mm.
Yeah, love learning.
Is it my turn?
Yes, baby,
Okay,
go.
so my purpose here today is to approach these as being fundamental human concepts because these are laws of being human, right?
Mhm.
So continuous is uninterrupted. It
Word.
also means to hold together, which I found kind of like, it's interesting.
Mhm.
But because this is a fundamental human concept, it can't be interrupted. So this idea that we're always learning, essentially.
Yeah.
And learning means study. And it's through learning it's acquiring this level of knowledge. And continuous learning, I see like how every one of these kind of weave into the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
is always happening, and it's happening. Our capacity to embrace this fundamental concept of continuous learning, being open to it, not in resistance to it,
Yes,
is
that part.
going to serve us.
Always.
And it links back to change. With change comes learning.
Yes. 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 Yes.
With experimentation comes learning. With lessons comes learning. With embodiment comes learning. So they're all just so interwoven together because, again, these are the laws of being human, and it's fundamental. These things do not change.
Yes.
So my point is stop fighting learning, but embrace it.
Yes.
It's how we're designed to be.
To grow, to grow, to grow, and to shift and to release.
Mm-hmm.
So that ties into how everything is coming now into law number 6, which is the law of here and now, which also is going to tie into something else down below. Is being right here, right now, which I know has been hard to do because of how we have operated from what we've been taught, what we learned, and some things. Even as a child, you can see some things that agree. I can see from one child that I'm in proximity to of what's natural and what's not. You know. So being here, which we were speaking about, the book that my ego wanted to continue to do, which is about the book The Presence of Now, right? By Eckhart Tolle. I think, yep, I got that right. So, huh?
I think it's the power of now,
What did I say?
the presence of now. But I'm not entirely sure either.
No, it's right. It's the power of now because it is about the power of being in the present moment,
I
in the
like
here and now.
kind of like the I like your version better.
Hey, it's all about being in that. So when you look at being human and what keep oh, here's another thing because of why I do what I do is that the present moment keeps you from suffering. So you're not really in the past and you're not too far in the future. You're right here in the right now. And if you're here right now, you can create whatever it is that did you desire to be as a human because you create your own reality in the present moment. You choose to do that. And if you and I know about being futuristic, and sometimes we far in the future, we don't even really get to create because we're thinking too far ahead. And if we're in the past, then we're dealing with what didn't happen back then. So the joy of the here and now is just that. So when you're here, and I know that even in meditation, I meant to talk about constant. So every now and then I have to remember when my eyes are closed, to concentrate on the center of my nose to keep me in the present moment. And I have to give myself grace because the mind will wander. And then when it does, I've come to find out that you need to understand what that means and what it's trying to tell you in the moment. And in the moment, you can, if you push, you can jot down that stuff and then come to find out why in this moment was it present for you, you know?
Mm.
So, um, and we'll go ahead, because it's gonna get gooder as we go
So the
down.
law of here and now. So we're going to break out here meaning in this place, which
Yeah,
is where you put yourself. Here, literally where one puts themselves, right? Now, as you said, at this moment. And the thing about here and now is that you are responsible for that based on the previous laws of being human that we've gone through lessons, your experimentation, your change, the continuous learning. So the law of here and now is this reminder that you have put yourself where you are here and now, and to also be in this place at this moment here and now. You
yeah,
can't go back to the future. You can't go to the past. All you have is these continuous moments of here and now,
yeah, yeah,
and you
yeah,
put yourself there. I like that one. I was like, ooh, where one puts themselves. I liked how it put it in that context.
yeah. Thanks, sis. Yeah. So, and then we get into the seventh law of being human is the mirror. So I think I get this more and more and
Oh
more.
wait, the law of mirror.
The law of the mirror. The
Wow.
mirror. Yeah. The law of the mirror in humanness is that you end up reflecting what you see or attracting what you see, because the mirror has a lot to do with that part as well. It's what you reflect into the world as what you believe about yourself, which also has to do with a little bit of attracting what you mirror out, looking within and recognizing as a human what you put out into the world. So sometimes when you have certain things or certain programs, like I say, it tells you to look in the mirror, stand in the mirror. Some of us don't do that, which takes time to do that, to look. There's programs I did with had you look at yourself in all aspects as a human being, your body without clothes. How do you see yourself? What do you do, and how do you express and mirror yourself out into the world, and what do you get back? from others because it's this kind of give and take. How do you see yourself is how you mirror out into the world. And sometimes it happens energetically without you even knowing it. So that's why being present and being aware is key. Um,
Mm.
I think obviously you see my energy change because this is deep, very deep in the essence of this law. You can carry it on, my dear.
I loved how he said law of the mirror, right? Because he
Hmm.
could it could have said law of mirroring, right? But the law of the mirror.
Right.
And the like we have to kind of like focus on that. The this or that, but more importantly, outwardly expressed.
Right.
And so the mirror provides you, like you said, something to look at. It literally like to reflect images. And I think the law of the mirror provides an opportunity to see what is outwardly expressed, providing you an opportunity to observe and to watch and
Yes.
to contemplate.
Yes. That part. It's just that simple.
That's a big
Uh,
one.
It
I
is a
have
huge,
I
it's a
have
deep one.
this I have this this thought or this phrasing of we're all walking mirrors.
That. Yeah. Yeah. And if you want to see anything better, you have to be present, continue to learn, choose to change, play around and experiment, learn from the lessons, and embody the true essence of you.
Mm.
Now we step into, you can sit with the law of mirror if y'all want to for a minute. Then you want to go to the law of choice, number 8.
Ooh.
So as you know, I talk about as you look in this in the mirror, you have to choose. You have a choice to choose to change. You have a choice to choose to see your mirror reflection. You have a choice to choose to be in the here and now. You have the choice to choose to always change. You have the choice to choose to experiment with your life for the betterment of you. You have the choice to continue to learn the lessons for the betterment of you. And you have to continue to choose to treat your body with the respect so you don't always feel the pain of it in mind, body, and or spirit. And you look at all those areas. So the law of choice is that we always have a choice. So certain programs that I download from, one of them came up, it was your choice to do that. So in this last one of the lawyers who was an emotionally get pissed off, who really shouldn't be a partner, um, did something very, very egregious that he couldn't unchallenge. And he made a choice to do it, which was to expose somebody else's income and tell everybody in the firm. Okay. So, and then, and did it on a whim because things don't go your way and you react out of emotional distress. But whatever choice you make has consequences
Mm.
in your human experience. Period. With a T on the end. Or is it period? Well, thank you, because you had a choice to listen to this. You had a choice, and we thank you for being here. Choice is huge. And before you do something, make sure it's the choice that you want to choose.
Mm. I mean, choice to try. I also saw that it means to taste. So it's like, are you tasting the
Yeah.
sweetness of life or are you choosing to taste the bitterness of life?
Yeah.
And sometimes that can help you to make adjustments in going through the other laws of humanism, right? Being human. And what I landed on is this is that free will piece.
Yeah.
It falls under the law of choice. It's free will. We all have free will.
Yeah. That part. So keep that in mind, y'all. Keep that in mind. Which also transitions into the law of introspection. I'm just gonna give that one to you. I'm giving that one to you. I'll piggyback. I'm gonna give that one to you. Go ahead.
I'm not ready though, because I didn't know it. Get go, you do
No, we good.
you.
So introspection, I mean, she's gonna break up the word, but you gotta look at intro. So having introspection, that part of going and looking at things in a certain way, going in, having that perspective and that perspection of what it is to walk in your humanness, you know, to take that inner dynamic look into where you are, how you see things, you know, and whether or not there's a choice to change how you see it if it's not serving you, you know. Um, Introspection is another deep one to come in and sit and to gather within, yourself and to speculate what's serving, what's not. Um, it has come up in many different categories of inner growth and how you're looking to see the very nature of the wide broadness of who you are as a human being in the world. Yeah. I mean, just like sitting with the law of the mirrors, that is that dissection, you know, within and removing and replacing things to make you and continue to make you the wholeness that you are as you walk in body, having a human, in a body, having a human experience.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. That wow. That's a really beautiful reflection on that law. So I'll just go over what I said, what I came up with. So like you did, I broke down intro, inspection, and then I
Mm-hmm.
put it together. So
Mm-hmm.
intro is inward to the
Mm-hmm.
inside. And intro also can have a meaning of a brief introduction. Inspection is to look at, to observe attentively. And so the action of putting those together is this action of searching one's feelings or thoughts.
Yeah.
So it,
Yeah.
it provides you that opportunity to, as I see it, to be honest with how you're feeling about what's going on in your life.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, it took me some time to get there.
Oh,
You
no,
threw me
no.
a curveball. Yeah.
It's all about getting there. This, this is,
Yeah.
we know, and to try to articulate it, to the audience, to you guys, is a joy, is a purpose. And have understanding so you can live your best life on an
Hmm.
ongoing basis, you know. And that gets to when you're going within the law, the 10th law is the law of moving on. And so this is huge, walking in your humans, because sometimes you just have to move on from some stuff. I want to see another word, but you just want to move on from some stuff. And and have to know that it's okay, because it's not that we don't care about others, but we have to move on for what does not serve us. And sometimes we need to write down what is not serving us, and to be okay, walking your humans, that's okay to move on. Some things, I like the history. I like quality. For me, it's hard to move on away from quality products, but I have to, deal with what I got, or, keep working what I have working. And most of my stuff lasts for a long time, because that's how I take care of items. Moving on in my beingness is the continued growth that has brought me here with y'all. It's not that I haven't done it. I haven't done things on a certain level, been behind the mic, been on TV, just trying to be the best and coming to grow forth into sharing um uh the wisdom, and letting go and moving on and stepping into your divine date, with who you are to be, and to choose to change and release the nonsense that keeps you bonded or keeps you suffering. And people don't realize that they're suffering when and when things are not serving you. It's just that we've got so used to walking in pain and distress and that things, that we have to take the time to do everything before, to sit down, to be in the here and now, and recognize that, and let that shit go. And the etymology of that word is to let go, to release, to keep on trucking, as one of the old school songs said. Moving on, and choosing to to recognize your true essence, to recognize that who you were yesterday, you need to choose that you are not that person anymore. And if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, move the hell on.
Hmm. Moving on, the law of moving on. So moving, set in motion, to push away, to remove. Um, and this one I found really interesting, and that's disturb.
Yeah. Ah, come on.
On is a position of cover. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
To be supported by. I thought that one was really interesting too. When you think of
Hmm.
on, yeah.
Hmm.
Because think when you turn the lights on, you're supported by the light versus turning them off.
True. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
And then this was a big one, on, from the standpoint of like the meaning of that word can also, like, that touches the feelings with what came up.
Yeah.
So when you put it together, moving on, the law of moving on, it can disturb a position of cover.
So
Moving
this,
on can remove, it can also a remove position of cover. Like moving on can be like setting in motion to be supported by. So you see there's a path to purpose and moving on so many different levels.
yeah, as a
I liked
the
how it broke down. I was like, oh, okay. It's also removing that, which touches your feelings.
Yeah.
So maybe there's something that touches your feelings that just is like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like the way that feels. And there's a
Mm-hmm.
power in moving on from that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Very much is. So yeah. Um, um, and moving on, you tap into the next law, which is the law of perception. Number 11, the law of perception. How do you perceive things? How do you perceive yourself? Since we're talking about being a human, because we're going to get personal. This has been personal. You know, your perception of the world, the perception, I use some example, perception of how I see things, the perception of how, you know, things were passed on to us that really don't serve us anymore. You know, even how we parent, you know, you have to change it up. You have to, for example, look at your child in a different way than you looked at yourself or how you were raised in yourself, because sometimes if we go back to child, we have to reparent ourselves. And how would we want to reparent ourselves that we want to repair our children? How do we perceive how we do things that are no longer viable today? Not that they were even viable then, but our people only knew what our people knew, right? So the law of perception is coming in and getting, you know, some perspective on you, on how you perceive things. And if what you perceive does not serve you, then there needs to be a change. There needs to be a search, or then where it comes into continuous learning, you know, um, how we perceive the world. People think it's just, yes, it's chaotic. Oh, it's bad, but it's not. There's a lot of good things still going on, and there's a lot of good people doing good things in the world. And you're probably one of them on whatever scale that you are on it. Some of us look at the big scale. I know my ego's like the big scale. Maybe it is in my divine destiny, you know, but on the little scales, we do good things as well. How do you perceive it? You don't have to perceive it as it is being presented to you.
Hmm.
You can look at even the cities, there's still good stuff going on while the other stuff is going on. We have to be a product of that and just see how you see. And you have the choice to change how you see. So yeah, the law of perception.
I have perception as receiving or collecting, of taking in, or also a taking,
Mhm.
um, also a apprehension. Thought that was pretty interesting. To grasp completely and then to become aware. And
Yes,
I
that part.
think I think that speaks for itself.
Awareness is key.
And what you said
And
was agreed.
and
Couldn't
you
have said it
continue.
better.
Oh, thank you, darling. And you continue to grow, to get to know, to step in, continue to hang out with us. Awareness is key. And once you become aware, you have aha moments that are like, they be like huge sometimes, you know?
Mm.
So the 12th law, which equals 3, which is my signature number, the law, this one right here, I don't know if it's going to say anymore, but the law of true possession. So I'm going to let y'all sit with that because I know your minds are going to go everywhere else. And when I heard it, and when I heard the simplicity of the law of true possession, I'm gonna let y'all go through, and I expect for some comments to come from this episode. I want y'all to tap down in here. The law of true possession, and of course, yes, I went some couple of places. The law of the only true possession that you have. I'm gonna get closer. I'm gonna get closer, y'all. I'm gonna get closer so y'all can see everything. The true The only true possession you have is the present. I know y'all wasn't expecting that. It's the present moment. That's the only thing that we truly possess. Which goes back to the here and now, but the present of that book, The Power of Now, it's the only true possession, y'all. And you want to know, so the clothes that I have on, yes, I own them. I own them while I got them on right now. But if I leave body, I will no longer own it. I will no longer truly possess it. But because my spirit lives on, I will always have the present moment. My people are present. Anyone that I speak up or bring up, they're present here. They're present with me always. And some we'll be speaking about later that I have to do on how to deal with um, grief and loss is based upon loss. So your only true possession is the present. That's all we have. Here, right here with y'all. The present moment is our greatest and truest possession. What we do in the present moment matters. Whether you choose to rest, sleep, create, eat, drink, that serves your greatest and highest good, that is, y'all. First and foremost. So just sit with that for a minute. And I pass it over to my co-host.
The law of true possession. So approaching true first, meaning loyal, steadfast, trustworthy, faithful. Having no, that's possession. So those are true. Possession, to be master of, to have and to hold, to control, to own, and having power. When we put them together, true possession is one of trustworthy control, faithful control, loyal control, faithful master of, trustworthy master of. And it goes back to what you were saying about true possession is right here, right now.
Yeah, it's about mastering the moment.
Mastering the moment. So we only have the power right here, right now. That's the true possession.
It's just like, my delay in fitting something that I had promised had, I can only do what I can do in the present moment and honor that. Because if I had left body, then there was no nothing. So I have to honor what happens and master the moment, knowing, and the fact that I'm still in body means I can still continue what I promised and to be okay with that in the moment. So yeah, all that in a bag of chips. I like chips. Good ones anyway. Ones that have like two ingredients.
And potatoes and oil to fry them in. I'm with you.
Avocado oil.
Yes, to be very specific. Mm-hmm. I know which chips you're talking
about. I found another one at Aldi's.
Don't tell me.
They just little bad, but they I like them. They're good. They're simplistic. They got a crunch to them too. So yeah, I just eat them with my salad. Have to make it part of dinner.
Hey, it's on the food pyramid, right?
Yeah, I just let y'all know these truths apply to everyone. So I want to thank you so much. Now let's my co-host something she wants to end as we look at all 12 of them and head out and let y'all go reflect on this and have a funky good time and things of that nature. You got anything you want to say before we end this thing, Doc?
Absolutely. nothing more to add. I think this has been a beautiful opportunity to explore these fundamental human concepts.
Awesomeness.
So thank you for bringing that. Would you like me to close this out?
Sure, darling. Go right ahead.
All right, guys,
Please
thank
go
you so
deep.
much for hanging with us. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Comment down below which law speaks to you, and be sure to subscribe, share this video, and thank you for watching. And subscribe if you haven't already. It's free to do so. We're
Yeah.
trying to reach a goal of 1,000 subscribers so we can engage more effectively or in the way that we want to. So be sure
Yes,
to
yes.
subscribe, hit the bell notification so you receive notifications of future content that we will be uploading. Thanks for being in conversation with me, Warrioress Ardeshir A'ren.
What a pleasure it has been, love.
Yes. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching.
Peace.